Yes, yes, my lord, and the two ordinances which my lord the Chief Justice was referring to,
So
they are on page 210.
There are, you said 5.
Sir, the total are 5, but the two which your lordship pointed out, they are at page 210, which is ordinance number 23.
210?
10. And the other one which your
26 or 29, Sana?
yeah, 23 is sir.
23 and 26. Sir.
23, and the 26, my lord, is on page 222. And if your lordship will see on page 23, my lord, Mr. Mandukhel, this was given retrospective effect, but a different date in section 1, subsection 2, shall be deemed to have taken effect on and from the 6th day of October 2021. So they backdate this one slightly. So they're not.
Your argument is you were on the same page.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
You were on the same page.
And my further submission is that this pleading was not inadvertent, because when the court gave them permission to file an amended petition, almost a few months down the road, they filed an amended petition in which they reproduced this paragraph verbatim.
Ajay, now can you just run through all the ordinances that were done? We have one at due and seriatim order. The ordinances.
The ordinances, my lord, yes.
You referred to 2, but you said there are more.
Yes, my lord.
So can we go in chronological order?
Yes, my lord.
Time or later?
Yes, my lord. The National Accountability Amendment.
Page bataiye.
My lord, page 200.
This is the first one.
Yes, my lord.
First one. We call it the first amendment.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, this is the first. Second one, kahan hai?
My lord, the second one is at page 202.
This is the second. Okay, now where's the third?
My lord, the third one is at page 210.
Third, fourth.
Sorry, 206, my lord. The 206 to 207.
206 is the third.
Yes, my lord. 206 to 207.
Check.
The fourth is 210 to 221.
This is the fourth.
Yes,
right.
And the fifth, my lord, is 30th, that is page 222 to 225.
208 पे भी है 20 of 21.
Yes, my lord.
नहीं वो act है. Act.
Gee, that became an act, my lord.
वो act.
There's only one of these ordinances became an act.
So there are 5 ordinances.
Yes, my lord.
Can you read the provision on ordinances in the Constitution?
Article 89, my lord.
I mean, is it something the president should do on the spur of the moment, or after careful consideration, or it's silent?
My lord, the president except
Article क्या पढ़ रहे हैं?
Article 89. The president may, except when the Senate or National Assembly is in session, if satisfied that circumstances exist which render it necessary to take immediate action.
If satisfied
that circumstances exist which render it necessary to take immediate action, make and promulgate an ordinance.
Are these words of any consequence or not?
My lord, I would say that they are.
No, because the way the ordinances are churned out sometimes,
yes,
it seems it is not in conformity with the constitutional provision, which
yes,
says, if satisfied, and then the president should mention, these are the circumstances where I must legislate now, though I have no legislative power. The legislative power vests in the Senate and the National Assembly. We have to do it today because of this reason. But I see ordinances which just do it as a matter of right. That is my inherent God-given right to do so. I've always wondered why they're not reading the language of the Constitution.
Your Lordship is absolutely.
I mean, I may be wrong, so I just.
No, your Lordship is absolutely right. Almost every government has ignored the provisions of Article 89. They wait for the National Assembly to
that's one condition. Now, yes, there may be something, I don't know, the government may need money, or they may need, I don't know, there can be genuine emergencies. where you can't convene the National Assembly. So that's the
Yes.
that is one condition. The other condition is his personal satisfaction. Okay, we leave that aside. The third one is the important one, which is circumstances.
which render it necessary to take immediate action.
And now this is something which should not be discarded.
In the context of these ordinances, the explanation that given was that there is an urgency because the bureaucracy are, you see, the victims of abuse of NAB. So abuse of NAB even was acknowledged as a ground to bring about these changes. So, I mean, how could, I mean, most of the amendments that were challenged were part of these ordinances.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were, my lord. And that was my submission, that this is why it is an extraordinary case in common law constitutional history that a person who has enacted the legislation when no longer in power was challenging that legislation before the Supreme Court. And therefore, one, your lordships can look at the antecedents of the petitioner in these circumstances. And second, he had no locus standi to do that.
Even the president was satisfied from that ordinance. That's why it was promulgated.
My lord, your lordship will see that when
Does the court have to issue him notice? The then president, and ask him whether he was satisfied.
my lord, when
Where did he record his satisfaction?
my lord, he did not.
Can we see the ordinances? What are the shape of the ordinances?
My lord, may I point out that
जरा पढ़ते हैं, where it is it expedient? जरा सा देखें. The president is satisfied that circumstances exist which render it necessary to take immediate action. So he just verbatim reproduce a language without saying what are these
and
circumstances.
it's the same everywhere.
Ye Makhdoom Saab,
My lord,
I think by now it is absolutely clear that NAB has always been used from its inception for political engineering. And it had extensively abused its powers. Now, even then government knew that. And that is why they wanted to bring about some changes to protect the bureaucracy. So, and all that they left were the elected representatives who were the victims. I mean, no one can compensate them for the irreparable damage that has been caused to them. Most of them, you see, were, I mean, with great respect. And now there's a plethora of evidence for that. How you see they were imprisoned, how they were humiliated, and ultimately they found out that there was nothing against them. So, I mean, it's a law. I don't know whether in the first place should be there or not. But these ordinances, even they were compelled to issue these ordinances.
yes, my lord. And that was the justification given in the public domain.
Mr. Mahdum Ali Khan, that's, I would say, that's speculation. I mean, the language doesn't say that I'm doing it for this purpose. So
My
let's
lord,
stick to the language, but the president has to at least say, but this circumstance is immediate. I mean, whatever we are going now to intent, it's mala fide or bona fide, but on the face of it, he's not stating what is necessary to take immediate action. That this is the reason why I'm doing it.
This was
Nothing.
this was for the government to place before the president that these were the circumstances on the basis of which we are proposing the ordinance. And if the president is satisfied, then the ordinance has to be accepted.
My lord, I'm not.
And one thing more, whether the respondent is behind the bar, whether under any provision of the NAB ordinance, he is also facing the miseries of that ordinance.
Yes, my lord. Yes, that's correct. So,
Saab,
ये
is there-
पांच, अच्छा, sorry.
Makhdoom Saab, is there any data which would show the damage caused by NAB to the economy, to the freedoms of the individuals, and by violating their fundamental rights? I think by now there must be a lot of data.
My lord, there are some judgments of this honorable court. There were a couple of reports which were also
I'm
placed.
not arguing that the entire NAB ordinance is illegal.
No, my lord, my
So but
submission.
if you are saying this, then I assume
My,
you're saying.
my submission at that time was.
No, Abhi.
अभी नहीं, अभी भी सर ये है
आप सिर्फ एक ब्रिगेडियर असद मुनीर का सुसाइड नोट देख लीजिए. That is sufficient. No one can bring back Brigadier Asad Munir.
my lord,
But he left with that. I think that should be brought on record. And I mean, I think that for NAB, speaking for myself, I don't know whether NAB is still abusing its powers or not.
My lord, my submission was on the constitutional plane slightly different. My submission was that this is first about the antecedents, then this is also a unique litigation. Citizens usually come to this honorable court or go to the high court to challenge that a particular statute is too rigorous and is too disproportionate, that it violates the fundamental rights to dignity, the right not to be tortured, the right to life. This is the first time when the statute, the rigors of a provision of a penal statute were reduced. And a person came forward and said, reduction in penalty.
I have the very uncharitable task of interrupting because I want to make progress.
My lord.
We would love to hear you, but today's date was propositions.
My lord,
So can you just, because these benefit of these arguments should be made when this one number one can hear them.
my lord,
So can we come back to, sorry, I have.
No, not at all, my lord.
Have this,
this is very.
a task which I don't cherish, but as the head of the bench, I have to do it. I want to keep you on track. Please cite the propositions.
It's a very welcome relief, my lord, and I'm grateful to your
also-
lordship for that. May I say,
Makhdoom Saab, there is also a possibility that the respondent may want to strike down or request striking down the entire law. Now he is the victim.
my lord, the first proposition.
जब वो petition आएगी हम देख लेंगे.
First proposition related to these proceedings before the bench being quorum non judice in
हाँ, ये
view
तो
of-
हो गया आपका argument. हाँ.
The second was the maintainability of the petition in view of the judgment of this honorable court in Benazir Bhutto and dependency of the petition in Islamabad High Court.
ठीक.
The third submission was the antecedents of the petitioner himself
ठीक.
having promulgated these ordinances, then subsequently challenging. Fourthly, the locus standi of the petitioner. There was not a word in the petition
Do
that,
you, if for challenging a law, do you need locus standi?
my lord, my submission is that you need to have some standing, otherwise it will become a situation which is this honorable court has always avoided.
No, but 184 doesn't say that.
True, my lord.
Any matter of public importance seeking enforcement of fundamental rights.
Yes.
You can knock out the petitioner on these grounds, but can you say you don't have a locus standi? He may say whole of Pakistan is affected. So
My submission was that this was a purely
locus standi you need in 199, not in 184.
but even in 184, your lordship will not decide a purely academic or political
No, it's not
controversy.
academic.
Makhdoom Saab, adding to
sorry.
what my lord has stated, 184.3 is discretionary.
My lord.
We have 57,000 pending petitions here. So why should this court consume the other litigants' time in a matter, you see, where the bona fides of the petitioner are, we are not satisfied with it. And the matter is also pending before the high courts. Now here in this case, as my Lord Justice Mansoor Ali Shah has observed, that, you see, they were part of the parliament. They could have contested this. So, absolutely, I agree with my lord that these are important questions which must be addressed.
Those will come, my lord, regarding to antecedents, bona fide and standing. These three will get a bit conflated, but they will have to be taken together. His antecedents, his bona fide, and his standing, because it was also
It's
shown.
also very important. It's those 57,000 litigants in this court. Their time is being consumed. So if the matters can be resolved or decided by the high courts, why should this court take the time of other litigants?
The next submission made, my lord, after the bona fides was that there was no actual case or controversy before this honorable court. No,
What does that mean?
my lord, no order passed on the basis of these laws was being challenged. No proceedings which were taking place.
Is it necessary to challenge the act?
My lord,
Before challenging the act, there must be some order.
my lord,
The order was actually passed.
your lordship
The
has
cases were transferred.
your lordship has made a test, and the test which your lordships have articulated it, that where a challenge is made to a statute, that challenge can be made on two bases. One, the statute in its operation affects the rights of a person, or the statute is ex facie discriminatory. In the second situation, you must show that you do not have to wait for the operation of the statute. You must show that on the face of it, this statute.
We are noting your proposition. You will expand later.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
next proposition.
And therefore, and there was nothing which showed that the statute was ex facie discriminatory.
Don't make me more unpopular.
My lord.
Next proposition.
Next proposition was that this honorable court, in a series of judgments, have said that before striking down any statute, the court must place the statute next to the Constitution. It must presume that it is valid and try to find every reason for its validity. And only when that fails must the statute be struck down.
Next.
And this was neither addressed in the submissions nor pleaded. Next submission was that a statute which reduces the rigors of the law cannot be violative of the fundamental rights of the citizens of the country because it is to their advantage and not to their detriment.
Next.
Next, my lord, was that a retrospective legislation is not forbidden by the Constitution. In fact,
Is it retrospective in substance or in procedure? Or both?
my lord, in this particular case, the punishment was not retrospective, the relief was retrospective. So it will not be hit by Article 12 of the Constitution.
So retrospective relief is permissible.
Permissible, because the bar under Article 12 is to punishment of an act or omission which was not an offense at the time of the commission of the offense. And therefore, the statute will not operate retrospectively.
That's it.
And that none of the fundamental rights in this particular case were violated.
Is there any mention in the petition, Mr. Makhdoom, is there any mention in the petition that which provision of the act is in violation of which provision of the Constitution?
No, my lord. And I had read out the entire petition before this honorable court to show that that challenge was not made. I had also submitted, and that's virtually the last proposition, my lord, that a number of these amendments were made in order to give effect to the judgments of the superior courts themselves. And all those judgments were placed on record, and with great respect, none of them were dealt with.
Is that your last proposition?
My lord,
I think, just to point out, going through the majority judgment, there are two very crucial questions. One question is that the majority judgment says that the limit that has been increased, that the threshold of 500 million, that could not have been done because the superior courts had laid down a threshold of rupees 100.
well, 100 million.
So the superior courts do not have any power to legislate. So if the legislature has legislated despite there being a judgment, see, that could not have been a ground to strike down that law.
My lord,
Then second, the main question, I think, addressed by Justice Mansoor Ali Shah, his lordship, in his dissenting opinion, was that all those references which were returned were also triable before other courts under particular laws. And that is something I don't know whether the majority judgment had overlooked that or they were not properly assisted, but they struck down the amendments only on that grounds.
My Lord, may submit, your Lordship has articulated it much better than I could. I was proposing to deal with this aspect as part of fundamental rights, that if the penalty is reduced, if the threshold is reduced from 500 million to 100 million, it does not violate any fundamental right.
Before you expand on this argument, where is this 100 million, first of all?
My Lord, it is,
500 million has come in the statute. Where is the 100 million?
my Lord, it was in the SOPs of NAB itself, in their standing operating.
That was accepted. That was
Upheld
accepted
by this court.
Yes,
So that is why you see,
without legislation.
yes.
without legislation.
And
This is by
so
legislation.
this is an argument which will have.
So my lord is, I think what my lord is saying, if I've understood my lord correctly, is SOP has given a higher standing than a legislative instrument.
One. My Lord, yes, my Lord. So this is addressed in two parts. Much better in your Lordship's observation that this is an proposition or this is a finding which offends against the very principle of trichotomy of powers, because this was a legislative function, and even if the court has given a policy indication that where there was no threshold, that came in, my Lord, at a time when NAB was prosecuting really petty offences that should at least look at 100 million. That was probably the floor, not the ceiling. And if the legislature has come up with a limit of 500 million, that's in the policy domain. Your Lordship will see.
Mr. Makhdumani Khan, this is the only part of the amendment which I personally have difficulty bringing my head around, because you begin investigating a matter and it says 1,000 million loss has been caused. And you investigate it more, it goes down to 800, then it goes to 500, then it goes to 200, then you throw it away and say, oh, I don't have jurisdiction. So is there any other country in the world where we fix a threshold, or when the trial starts, let's suppose this is a challan, and now the trial court comes to the conclusion that no, it's actually not 500 million, it's 490 million. It's bereft of, what does it do? So this thing, fixing an amount, sometimes you don't know, because it may be accounted for during the either during the investigation or during the trial. So are there any, you may just keep it, don't respond to it, and respond whether any other country or any other statute does these thresholds.
My Lord, yes. I'm very grateful.
Sorry,
for that.
Makhdoom Saab, I think the majority judgment answers this itself by saying that NAB only deals with mega corruption
Yes.
issues. But
No, but where do, I'm talking about the mechanism part of it.
And I had, my Lord, given an example from the Balochistan High Court, that when the Balochistan High Court reprimanded NAB for prosecuting petty offences and said you should be doing better things, the defense of NAB was that there is no major corruption in Balochistan. If we don't prosecute these people, we would be left with nothing to do. So that is, my Lord, Mr. Justice Mandukhel's judgment, and your Lordship has noted that this is what NAB's extraordinary response was. And my Lord, connected to 500 million and your Lordship's observation, my Lord, the Chief Justice, is the issue of forum. It was
No, I'm just saying the concept.
Yes, my Lord.
You need not respond to
No,
it now.
no, my Lord.
This is not really a contention. It's just for you
I'm
to respond later.
If
you want to.
Giving a proposition which is that there can be no fundamental right in the choice of forum. If the legislature thinks that some offences are better prosecuted by the accountability code, there are other offences.
We've understood that point of view.
Prevention of Corruption Act.
I've understood that point
Thank
of
you,
yours.
my
But the point which I'm saying is, there's a question mark at the end, legislature mention amounts when during investigation you really don't know. After investigation you know. And then during trial, if the amount falls short, he will say at the end, facing a whole rigors of a trial, you say, no, now he's to be tried by in another court. So I just want this to
My
raise
Lord,
this query.
that's a very pithy observation.
No,
and
are there any other precedents of this kind of legislation in Pakistan or elsewhere?
My lord,
where an amount has predetermined. Only after investigation you know the amount, because someone may make an allegation जिसने करोड़ों खा लिए, बाद में मालूम हुआ कि जी वो 10 लाख थे. मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है ना.
और एक और यहाँ पे क्यों एक
my lord, it's done in fiscal matters. I am not aware of anything in criminal law, but I will research it. I will research it.
इसमें
साहब इसमें
मखदूम
भी देख
साहब,
लेना कि आप इसमें क्या सिंगल एक इदारा क्यों नहीं हो सकता? क्या गवर्नमेंट इस तरफ नहीं सोच सकती? सिंगल इदारा हो, ये ना हो कि नैब का है, ये FI है,
My
ये
lord,
फलाना है।
my respectful submission was that before the Ehtisab laws as such, there were other laws in the country which, and before the NAB ordinance, there were other laws in the country which dealt with corruption. So simply referring some of the matters to those fora could not be violated of fundamental right. In response, example was given of Proda and EBDO, which were special tribunals of this kind made for disqualifying elected persons. And the response to that was that Proda and EBDO has a very checkered history in our country, which has been used again for political engineering and political maneuvering. But this is definitely merits, my lord, serious consideration, even with the legislature, that whether there should be a limit at all of 500 million.
I think a very pertinent.
Yes, my lord. There should
More,
Makhdoom Saab, if you are able to satisfy us that those 35 references which were returned and which appears to be the concern of the majority are triable before any other forum, then the entire judgment goes.
My-
And which has been answered by His Lordship Justice Mansoor Ali Shah.
the
Because that is the sole ground on which these amendments have been struck down.
The dissent is a complete answer to that, and that this was an academic exercise, and that in fact on ground something very different was happening.
You have to satisfy us that there is a forum.
My lord, yes, and it was, that submission was made in writing. I'll take your lordship to that submission. Plus, my lord, Mr. Justice Mansoor Ali Shah identifies that in the case of Pune and in the case of Bangladesh, the statutory provision was different. And their lordships have followed the judgment from India and Bangladesh without looking at the language of their statute. And that is, my lord, also what Mr. Justice Syed Mansoor Ali Shah points out in his dissent, and that's probably the last proposition, that the distinction which was drawn between elected holders of a public office and persons in the service of